Osama bin Laden was an Arsenal fan, but the biggest terrorist ever associated to my football club was Unai Emery. Watching my team try to play football in this era made me want to terminate my existence on the planet. It was horrifying. He has to be the worst manager in Arsenal history. This guy was a complete shambles. I don't care what he does with Aston Villa. Nothing will ever convince me this man is a good manager. After years of underachieving under Wenger, we thought it couldn't get any worse. But this guy proved us all wrong. The diabolical football we were playing under him had me considering watching cricket. It was insufferable. We should have known after we sat in the likes of Socrates and Lichtsteiner it was going to be a long season. We started it with back-to-back losses to Man City and Chelsea, and our players were already sabotaging. This bozo Czech almost scored an own goal, and then against Chelsea, Aubameyang forgot how to play football. It would go on to get a lot worse, losing to a terrible Southampton team before going to Anfield. I have seen some embarrassing Arsenal games, but few were as bad as this one. We went 1-0 up, and I was so gassed I ran out the room celebrating, just to come back in and see it was already 1-1. But then, it happened. The most embarrassing moment in Arsenal history. Not one, not two, but 3 players eating grass. Do you have no shame? My jaw dropped watching this. I couldn't believe it. We went on to lose the game 5-1. I thought the days of getting slapped up were gone, but Unai Emery had other ideas. Then some random West Ham Academy player scored his first ever goal against us, before Jesse Lingard moonwalked on our stadium. Every week was a new embarrassment. It was traumatizing. We were in desperate need of some January signings, so we decided to go big in the transfer market and bring in Denis Suarez on loan. The guy played 5 minutes and got injured. He was useless. We had the chance to score a last-minute winner away at Tottenham, but Aubameyang missed the penalty. These players must have been embarrassing us on purpose. However, with 7 games to go, we were third, and it looked like we would get back into the Champions League again, finally. But then we lost 4 of our next 5 games. Are you taking the piss? Everton away, we lost. Crystal Palace at home, somehow we lost. Mustafi, I have a bounty on your head, mate. And Emery, why would you play Jenkinson, El Neni and Dinos Mavropanos in a top 4 race? He must have CTE, because who does that? Wolves away, we got fisted. And Leicester away, we got fisted even harder. Every week was a new, unique, painful experience. We had one last chance at home against Brighton, and of course, we fumbled. It was so embarrassing that even the opposition players were laughing at us. This was truly the end of the road. All hope was lost. It would be another season without Champions League football, and we'd have to suffer the Europa League anthem for one more damn year. But wait, there was one last chance. The Europa League final against Chelsea, who had already got top 4. Surely now we would secure our place in the Champions League. Surely. Oh, you're taking the piss. These bozos got absolutely battered by this dead Chelsea team. We even let Giroud score against us. We had players crying halfway through the game. I've never seen anything like it. But the new season was a chance for redemption, to right the wrongs of last season. And this was Emery's chance to prove he is the man. We made some big signings. Kieran Tierney, David Luiz, Danny Ceballos, and £72 million on a new star winger to take us back to glory. And we started the season well. Vibes FC was in full flow with Aubameyang and Lacazette on form. And Nicolas Pepe even dribbled past Van Dijk. We may have lost the game, but that was a win in my eyes. But then it started to get bad. Away at Watford, we went 2-0 up, but then went on to concede 30 shots. Do you realise how insane that is? 30 shots against this terrible Watford team. And of course, we bottled the 2-goal lead to draw 2-2. We also lost to Sheffield United. How is that even possible? And then we faced Crystal Palace at home. Again, we went 2-0 up, and again, we bottled it. We were so bad that our fans booed off our captain, and I think we all know what happens next. Please, how are you going to do this as the captain? It was truly embarrassing, and how Emery survived this, I'll never know. During this time, the fans were in disarray.
It's time to go!
Fuck yourself, man.
He has to go, blood. He has to go, blood. This is my fucking season ticket. I don't need it.
Then we went away to Anfield in the cup and scored 5 goals, but still managed to lose the game. That is simply scandalous. It's actually impressive. How do you even manage that? I don't know what we expected when our manager was playing Lucas Torreira at cam, when we had Mesut Ozil right there. He played 3 defensive midfielders every game when we had the most creative midfielder of all time right there. And you wonder why we were so shamefully bad. The only guy who knew how to play football in this team was Aubameyang. To this day, I have no idea how he put up with this abomination. domination. We went on to drop more points against Wolves, Leicester and Southampton, and somehow Emery still wasn't sacked. We had just 4 wins in 13 games. 4! Lacazette didn't even celebrate his last minute equaliser against Southampton because he knew he had saved Emery's job. But the 28th of November 2019 was the day I was finally released from the shackles of Unai Emery's terrorism. Frankfurt came to the Emirates and every Arsenal fan was on their knees begging for a loss so we could finally get rid of this bozo. When Aubameyang scored to make it 1-0, I was vexed. Unai Emery was so bad that I genuinely didn't want us to score so that he'd be sacked. But then, the greatest legend in Arsenal history, Daichi Kamada, stepped up. This man was my first and last love. He will forever have my heart. He can have my children, my inheritance. I will do anything for that man. He saved my life. He saved my eyes from Emery's cancerous football. 2 goals to make it 2-1. I have never celebrated a goal as much as that second Kamada goal, and it was against my team.
It is official. Unai Emery has been sacked.
Suddenly, the grey clouds were lifted and the outside world was full of colour. The sun was shining, the birds were singing, and the streams of tears finally stopped falling from my face. I was finally at peace with the world again. That fraud was finally gone. Finally, the pain was finally over. My club was finally back. I could finally watch football in peace. But then he came back to haunt us again. When I thought this guy could no longer hurt us. When I thought I was finally safe. Unai Emery single-handedly stopped us winning the Premier League. If we had won just 1 of our 2 games against his Aston Villa team, we would have won the league. But we lost twice. We didn't even score a goal. Nothing will ever scare me as much as that man. I don't know what he has against us, but he is the reason I can't sleep at night.